Hi guys, welcome to Polymer Arts. This is part 2 of the burrow. We have our burrow and now I'm going to work on making some lights for my burrow. I want to make mushroom cap lights or mushroom lights. Let's get started. I just saw this on YouTube. I can't remember where. I'm going to see if I can figure out where I saw it. We're going to use hot glue. Oh, that one had some interesting splotches. I'm trying to get a good circle. If they're a little off, that's okay. What is on? Oh. Now I know. I got some paint on my glue stick. That's why there's blotches in there. But that won't matter. Gives me some cool ideas though. If you want some blotches in your glue sticks, you just put some paint on your glue before you... I'm just going to make some varying size little circles. Let those harden. So now I've got some tubing covered in static grass. I'm going to cut to size. And then in some of these tubings, I'm going to add some lights to it. Let's see what we can come up with. So we're going to do a little experimentation at first. What I want to do is cut my tube. We're going to take some hot glue to my hot glue, dab some here, glue this guy in place. Now, this works. Okay. I think what I'm looking for is going to work. Yay! That's what I want. Some I want clusters because I don't want just like one mushroom growing. I want some clusters. We're going to have different sizes. I feel like I'm going to try to paint as I go because I think all the handling of it is going to just mess them up. Let's try a first batch and then see where we get from that. I'm going to cut off a little bit of tubing. I don't need much. We're going to kind of like that. Just get a little bit more surface. We're gonna splotch some hot glue here, glue on our tubing, and then we're gonna glue it in place. We figure it out as we go. That's how I do things. I want two lights next to each other. This is mushrooms. I'm not gonna make it perfect. The thing with this cardboard, guys, you can always touch it up. If I make a mess out of this, I can just fix it. See if we can thread this light through. Man, if I had individual lights, maybe this could be different. I just haven't figured out how to solder yet. Just be careful. Could get a drill bit out too for this. Oop, see, this is why I think it's going to be like a process. That's okay. I kind of love this. I like that a lot. Okay, let's do another set on camera. I poke a couple lights through. Got my mushroom top. I'm going to glue it onto my little tube. Glued on. Got another little mushroom top. So now, take our mushroom. We're going to thread it in our fairy light. Test it. Yep, I love it. The white looks good too, but I'm adding some red for a pop of color. If I can find that video where I just learned this, I will link it. But this is the other trick to make the stalk or the base of the mushroom. You take the glue gun and you just swirl it in water. It's gonna maintain that round shape, I think. See? That's awesome. Woo! Okay, if you don't want to make lights and you just want to make a mushroom, you just use that glue strands that you made in the water and glue them to the mushroom top. Ooh, yep. Okay, I love it. It's really cool. I'm super happy with how these are turning out. I think I'm just going to do these 3 sets of mushrooms here. May add a couple more little white ones amongst them. And then I'm going to decide where else I want lights. I definitely need some fire going on down here. We got our fireplace going and we got our mushrooms. I'm just going to see if I like some little mushroom dots. Just like a little texture, just a tad. Next, I want to add some color here. What I want to do right now is make some flocking. I want to make like little bunches of lavender. I did this in my video with the girl in the field, a similar thing. To make your lavender, you're going to cut up a bunch of yarn or embroidery thread. I have 2 colored purples here. I'm just cutting them into itty bitty bits. This is how you make inexpensive flocking in any color you want. So now we have a little bit of flocking, and then I'm going to take my jute string and then I'm going to coat that string in some glue. Then you're going to dip it in your flocking, and there you have a bit of lavender. Let that dry and then trim off any excess string you want. So I want some to be hanging here. Now we have some lavender hanging on the wall. So this hammock is going to be hung up here. And I'm going to do that off camera because it's going to be tricky. This is what I want. I want a little bunny hammock. Now I'm going to make Mama Bunny. So when I sculpt, I don't really have a certain way I do things. So this is not a tutorial of how to sculpt anything. I kind of sculpt different each time I sculpt. I just kind of feel it out, add things as needed, take away as needed, and it depends on the scene I'm looking for. I'm trying to get kind of a Peter Rabbit type vibe with my bunnies. They're almost like kind of sketch in clay, I guess. I don't know how to describe it any other way. It's kind of a painterly type of bunny, that illustration of kind of like a Peter Rabbit. This is what I think in my head. I don't know if it makes sense, but you can watch how I make Mama Bunny. I do have a couple tips. Ball bearings make fantastic bases for eyes, and wire is your friend. Also, a pasta machine is also your friend to flatten clay. You can buy cheap ones. You don't need to get a clay machine. Also, just bake anytime you feel like you need to save progress and you don't want to mess up your piece. Aluminum foil or tin foil is also a great thing to have. It is a filler for larger pieces and it saves you from using too much clay. Now I baked Mama Bunny and now it's time to paint her. I am just adding a variety of different color paints. I'm using browns and whites and grays and blacks. I just want her to be a multicolored bunny. Again, kind of going with that Peter Rabbit type of bunny. I actually have been watching the movies. They're cute, cute, cute. I'm thinking more like illustration wise in the books. I decided Mama Bunny needed a little apron, so I made this apron out of blue clay. I like her. Now that we have a fireplace, we need a pot. So to make this pot, I just kind of experimented because I didn't have the correct shape. I'm using a cabochon to get the rounded shape of the bottom. Then I used this circle cutting tool to get the sides, and I baked it all together. All right, let's see if my pot idea worked. Come on. Success. I added a little wire for a handle, and then I'm going to paint the entire thing black. Now let's make some baskets for the bunny. You can make a little, you can use a jar, something glass or metal. I made a little shape. It's not perfect. Out of tin foil for the size basket I want. So my baskets are mini, so I needed a little. You want something cylinder, round, well, any shape you want. You could do a square basket. So this is my basic shape. Again, it's not perfect. So I'm going to take my clay extruder, has clay inside, and I'm going to make some fun little wormies. Then I just flatten some clay. So I have a little circle cutter. Oh, my hands. All right, somewhat better. They still look. Ugh. What is the lighting in here? Ooh. I swear my hands are clean now. They don't look clean on camera, but I don't know what's with the lighting right now. Anyways, okay. Take your little circle cutter. This is just a base. I'm gonna cut a little circle. I'm gonna take my not so perfect little cylinder I made here. Again, if you had something like this made out of glass, you can make it any size, like a baby jar. You could use a baby jar. Anything glass or like a metal if you're gonna put it in the oven. All right, so you start your basket by starting at one side of your shape and then going over to the other side. And I just use my nail and I'm cutting it off, okay? And then I center. I'm not perfect, but try to center it, center-ish. Cut off. And then how many? You can add as many as you literally want to start. These are baskets. I mean, you can go as perfect as you want. I'm not looking for perfect. Mine are not evenly spaced, but then you kind of mush it in the middle. Then you add your centerpiece. Then you're gonna bake your little shape in the oven. Take your little doohickey and you're gonna carefully detach it from your tin foil. All right, so now you have your base. It's okay that if it's a little wonky. Take some more of your little noodles and you're just gonna weave in and out and out, in and out. Just gonna keep weaving around. That's all you do. And it turns into a really fun little basket. Just keep weaving in and out until you get your desired height. Find where we left off. I think you need odd number the things that go up to make it work. I don't know why. I can't think of the math right now, but I think you need odd number. You decide where you want it to end, and then you just snip off the little bits you don't want. And if you want a handle, I suggest pre-baking the shape you want, using some kind of curve and pre-baking it, and trim as needed. And that's how I made the handle for this guy. It was much easier to put in place when I pre-baked it. You can also do it with wire if you have wire handy. I wanted my bunny family to have a table, and I had these little wood slices in my craft supply, and I liked the raw edges of the sides of them. And I also needed to make a tree stump for the table to sit on. So I'm making the tree stump out of tin foil, and then I'm gonna layer the tin foil with clay. I then bake this odd piece of clay, and I'm gonna paint it some browns, blacks, and grays. And now we have a tree stump for the table. I made some radishes by taking a little ball of clay, kind of mushing it on one end, and then I added basically some greens at the other end. And after those have been baked, I'll add some red for radishes. I made some berries, kind of like a raspberry, just by taking teeny little balls of clay, sticking them together. And then after I bake them, I'm just going to add some red paint. I made my bunnies some carrots with some rolled up orange clay, just cutting it into little wormy deals. And then once I baked, I added a little bit of brown wash to dirty them up. I made some leaf-shaped dishes or platters. Since it's Easter season, I also made some little eggs to put in the basket. Let's start to assemble. First, I want to add, this is the table I made. I need to glue together this. And we're going to permanently attach it in here. Close enough. And then I have a shelf that I want to put up here. This is just moss from outside. This is that pot. Here's one of my radishes. I kind of want to put him in the pot. Some carrots as well. So I have some real twigs and I want to break them. And I'm going to add some hot glue. Basket. And I want to put the raspberries in there. Let's see, maybe back here, this leaf. Raspberry on there. Radish. So what else do we have? Mama's gonna want some platters for later. So we're gonna put a little platter up there. So we added a couple platters. Decided I need some extra color for what's going on in the pot. Whatever Mama's cooking. We gotta have some ode to some Easter eggs. Let's give me some Easter eggs happening right here in this basket. Next to the fireplace needs to be a bundle of wood. Introducing some baby bunnies. I'm gonna add a little shine to their eyes. Maybe their nose a little bit. Here's this little cutie. Anybody come up with some names? I'd be happy to give them some names. He's gonna go right here. He's hanging out with his eggs. Then we have our little guy friend here, and he is climbing up the stairs. Then we have our little friend here, and he is reaching for a carrot. Then we have our little friend here. I feel like he's the oldest of the baby bunnies, and he's kind of hanging out right here. And then we have this guy, and he might be my favorite baby bunny, and he is hanging out in the bed up here. And here is the mama bunny. I also added a little broom and then a little painting of a bunny that I made years ago. And here is the burrow. I had a lot of fun figuring out how I wanted to do this project as I went along, and I hope you enjoyed watching me figure out what to do next. If you like what I do, please like, subscribe, and all those YouTube things. It really helps with their algorithm. I'd love to hear your comments on this project or what I should do next. I'm still working on my Never Ending Story series. I'm going to do Artex and Atreyu in the Swamps of Sadness, but I'm nervous about sculpting a horse. I've never done that before, and I really want to try it. So that's in my head, still brainstorming. That will be the next scene in my Never Ending Story series to finish my half of my book for my large diorama. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Let's check out the final results.